morning. Happy Wednesday. Today is January 26th. This is, getting error messages. This is the 18th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. My name is Sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community and people in general, because it's gotten way bigger than I could have ever imagined. So thanks for joining me. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern to see me live. You can watch the replays on YouTube and on Facebook, both for the New Thought Media Network and my personal Facebook page and my YouTube page. So shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing us the space and opportunity to talk about being our own heroes here. And remember, just a reminder, they have an Instagram account now, so go follow them at New Thought Media Network. And if you want to make a donation, you can go to ntmedia.org. They are a 501c3 nonprofit, so it's a tax-deductible donation. So check them out. Check out the other programming on the network and the radio station, and give a donation. Okay, and if this show provides you with any value, please like, comment, share, spread the news, spread the word. Check out all the notes. Wherever you're watching this, there'll be show notes underneath. So check out the notes about how to purchase a hero hoodie or make a donation or support this show in other ways. All right, so all that said, this is the season of doing. This is season 3. The theme is doing, and the idea is to do. Am I wearing I got the doing hoodie on today in homage to season 3. And the idea is to kind of combine what we've been talking about in terms of wealth and abundance into actionable steps in small ways. And hopefully they'll resonate with you. And definitely they'll resonate with me. Like a lot of these things we'll talk about are reminders for me. Really, all of it is a reminder for me. So join me on this journey of doing. Okay, so Hero Ministry Movement news. Let's get into it. Today is day 240 of my run streak. So it's a milestone day for me. Oh, I'm going to give myself some fireworks. I got to celebrate my wins. I'm going to do the new fireworks. Okay, there we go. That was a little excessive, but whatever. Day 240. I've been running every single day, at least a mile a day, since the first day of June in 2021. That is now 240 days in a row. I have not missed a single day. I've run outside almost all of those days. And today is day 240, as I've said. It's a milestone day, as I've said. Also, I am running from mile, how can I say this best? Basically, I'm dedicating the next 100 miles to Mr. Charles. If you've been watching this show, hopefully you've heard me talk about my experience finding Mr. Charles in the snow and helping him get into his apartment, and then later finding out that he broke his foot. I won't retell that whole story now, but my intention is to dedicate the next 100 miles of my charity run to Mr. Charles. And in that period, I'd like to raise $1,000. So thanks to those of you who've donated already. Please share that story, that link, because I haven't done it yet in the way that I need to. So I will do that soon. But in the meantime, if you get a chance to share it, please do. And we want to be able to bless him as he comes back from the hospital. Okay, so that's what's going on with my run streak. It has evolved into now the third charity run. The charity run for Mr. Charles will be the third charity run that has become a part of my ongoing run streak. That said, that's a good segue for me to talk about half marathon training. So, as some of you know, I am now training officially for half marathon, and it's been interesting. There's been a few things that have been interesting about it. The first thing is the fact that it's self-guided. Like if you are training for a half marathon or marathon, they assume that you already have the discipline to do what you need to do. That's built in. You got to have the discipline. So they send you a sheet that tells you what to do on which days. and you're just supposed to do it on your own, like no supervision. It's all on you. So I have prepared myself well for that unwittingly by running every day since June 1st. So I've got the discipline locked in. As a matter of fact, I checked the sheet this morning, and the sheet for the task for today is rest day or cross training. I was like, well, I'm not doing the rest day. I'm not losing my streak or my momentum. So my quote unquote rest day was to run just a mile and a half. And the fact that I can say just a mile and a half is pretty cool, because I remember when a mile just seemed like trying to get to Pluto. It just seemed like so far out of the frame of my abilities. And now it's not. So yeah, I did a mile and a half, and I ran very slowly. My intention was to take it very easy. That didn't work out so well. I mean, it was fine, but it's cold. Like, it's 21 degrees now, so I don't know what the temperature was when I went out, because I went out in the 6 o'clock hour. So I don't know what the temperature was. I didn't even check, but it was cold. So running slowly did not really benefit me, because I wasn't generating enough warmth. Like, I was generating warmth because I'm running, but I wasn't generating a lot of warmth. So I ended up getting very cold. So I'm gonna have to factor that in next time. I'm gonna have to check the temperature when I decide to run a little more slowly, because yeah, that wasn't a good look. By the time I got back, I was really cold. So anyway, that's a little bit of a sidebar, but the point is, if you're interested and you're in the Nashville area and you're interested in training for a half marathon or a marathon, check this out. Your registration for training, 100% of the net proceeds will be donated to charities here in Nashville. That's very exciting. They're going to make a donation to Black Men Run, which is a nonprofit, also Black Girls Run, and a few other nonprofits in the area. The training is being provided by Fleet as in fast, feet as in you run with your feet. Fleet Feet Nashville. It's a chain of running stores. I haven't even been yet, so I don't know how to describe it because I haven't been yet, but I understand that it's a running store. They're providing the training, and they're also making the donations to the local nonprofits. So that's very exciting. If you're in the Nashville area and you've been wanting to train for a marathon or half marathon, feel free to join. And by the way, that doesn't mean you have to commit to a marathon or half marathon. People keep asking me, so what race am I running? I don't know, but I'm training. Like, I want to get the education. I want to learn whatever it is I don't know, because you don't know what you don't know until you know. So I'm just in the training to learn. There is no specific race that I'm training for. But if you're interested, hit me up. I'll connect the dots. And again, 100% of the net proceeds are being donated to local charities, including Black Men Run. So very cool. Shout out to Fleet Feet for doing that. Okay. Also, another quick shout out to the 30-day challenge people. Thanks for showing up and showing out. Gladys, I saw your note in the comments yesterday. Yep, you've been showing up every day for your stationary bike. And also, this is a bit of a sidebar, but brief sidebar. Gladys, I hope you're watching. So, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it, because if I talk about it, that's talking about things that happen in the 30-day diet class, and that's separate. So for those of you who missed the 30-day diet class, you're missing a lot. There's a lot going on in the class, and if you missed it, just get the book and follow along at your own pace, because it's really impactful stuff. And if you read it with somebody, it gets even more impactful. So Gladys, I'll hit you up. I had an idea about something you said in the class last night, so I'll share that with you later. Okay, so 30-day challenge. Shout out to all you folks that are doing the work. Keep posting in the group. And by the way, yes, you don't have to do something every day. That is my call to action, of course. Do something every day for 30 consecutive days. But join the group regardless, because there are people in there just trying to do. Oh, not trying. Just doing. There are people in the group who are doing. And that's the name of the group, is the doing group on Facebook. And it's a private group. You have to be invited, or you have to request to join, and I can let you in. But don't be afraid to get in the group because you think that we're all doing something every day. That's not the case. We're all encouraging each other and helping each other and supporting each other. So that's that. Speaking of which, we're also doing the envelope challenge in the group. For those of you who haven't checked Facebook yet, today's number is 2. That's $2 today, shifting from your checking account into whatever bucket you have designated for the envelope challenge. And my very quick thought about the envelope challenge today is that it has reminded me that there's always enough. That's been the discovery for me, that in doing the envelope challenge, I keep discovering that there's always enough. Like some days I pull a 6, which means $6, transferring $6 from checkings to savings. And I get a little hesitant, and then I move the 6, and it's like it was never there. You know, there's always enough. There's always enough. And it's a great reminder that that's the way the universe is set up. There's always enough. There's always abundance, but you have to stay in abundance. And as soon as you start to contract, you block the flow of abundance into your life. So you have to stay open. You have to stay open. You have to know that it's always enough. And yes, I can transfer that money from my checking to my savings because there's always enough. It's a great practice. So that's what I've been noticing about the envelope challenge. I would love to hear from the other people that are doing the envelope challenge, what's been showing up for them. Okay, so moving on. I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say about the introductory stuff. Yeah, check out my podcast. You can see the interview that I did with Regina Smith about abundance mindset. As always, check out the Get Rich 101 podcast that is fully about abundance mindset. Yeah. All right. So let's do morning Zen. So as I just talked about, I'm doing the 30-day mental diet class, as some of us are, and we're reading the 30-day mental diet every day, and we're on different days. And what's really interesting to me is that Reverend Melissa, yesterday talked quite a bit about day 20. Well, I was on day 19. So all yesterday, I heard about day 20, and we talked about it again last night in the 30-day mental diet class. And now it's my day 20. So I just feel like the universe was like, you really need to pay attention to day 20, Sekou. So I did. And even though I kind of forgot about it overnight while sleeping, I was reminded of it this morning in my reading. So I'm going to read what stood out the most for me from day 20. And this might be the same thing that Reverend Melissa said. I'm not even sure. But this is the part that stood out the most for me. You must get over resenting the challenges that you meet and instead welcome them as opportunities for greater achievement. You must get over resenting the challenges that you meet and instead welcome them as opportunities for greater achievement. Strong stuff, right on time, and I got like a quadruple dose. All the times it was brought up yesterday, plus me reading it again today. So that's a strong one. Just one more time. Get over resenting challenges and welcome them instead, because that's the way you grow to have greater achievement and greater strength personally. So that's day 20 of the 30-day mental diet. Okay, so shifting gears, it's 10 o'clock. So for those of you just joining us, we've been talking about a few things before you got here. Just remember, the show has been expanded. It starts at 9:45 now. That's 9:45 Eastern time. And as always, if you missed the show, you can always watch the replay on YouTube and Facebook. And if you watch it on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Because not only am I posting this show every day on YouTube, I'm also posting some other things. So like, subscribe, follow on YouTube. Okay, all that said, let's move on to abundance. And let's start off abundance by doing this affirmation that we've been repeating. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Drink it in, keep it with you, remind yourself of it throughout the day. And again, my new usual reminder, poor people spend, the middle class saves, but the wealthy invests. So make sure that you are investing. Investing is not optional. If you want to retain the value of the money you have, investing is not optional. You have to invest. just to retain the value of the money you have. Just a reminder. Okay, so I've been talking about trading this week, unexpectedly. I've been talking about stock trading and how the percentage gains in trading seem to outweigh the percentage gains in buy and hold. Or maybe a better way to say that is it seems like you can make the same amount of money by trading in a shorter amount of time. But before I say anything more about that, I just want to circle back to risk. Someone mentioned that in the comments yesterday, and I checked the notes after the show, so I just want to circle back to this. So there is a motivational speaker by the name of Jim Rohn. I like him a lot. If you haven't checked him out, you might want to just drop his name into YouTube and watch some of his videos. Great speaker. It's Jim, R-O-H-N, classic motivational speaker, but he was funny. Like that was his thing. He made it funny. And one of his speeches that I remember that always stuck with me, as he said, it's all risky. He has this kind of Southern twang that I can't quite approximate. But he says, it's all risky. Walking out the door is risky. Getting in your car is risky. Getting on a plane is risky. It's all risky. All of it. All the things that we do in a day that we take for granted all contain risk. And we accept the risk, and we don't often think about them in fearful ways. For me, the magic of these discoveries that I've been talking about on this show is that the stock market in particular, finance in general, but the stock market in particular, were presented to me by society, was presented to me by society as kind of an impenetrable fortress of complexity, right? Like it's dense, it's complicated, and it's a fearful place to be, and you don't want to get involved because you're going to lose your money. And so the fascination has been, it's not that complicated. Like obviously there's risk involved for sure, but it's not as complicated as it was presented. Like I have been blown away by the ease. Let me finish that thought, and then I'll circle back. I've been blown away by the ease with which you can get invested in the stock market. And what I said I was going to circle back to is the fact that that has not always been the case. The barriers have fallen down. I think it was Robinhood that upset the apple cart. But in years past, you had to have a broker, you had to have a minimum brokerage balance in your brokerage account, and it was usually high. It was like sometimes $500, sometimes more. Like it was significant amounts of money that were barriers to entry. But Robinhood came along, I believe, don't quote me, but one of the online trading apps came along and said, okay, no brokerage fees, no minimum balance. We're not going to charge you to trade. And therefore, there were ripple effects throughout the system, and everyone had to move to catch up. So those of us like myself who are getting involved now are getting in at the sweet spot time where you can get in and open an account with a zero balance and start saving, investing, trading. And when I say saving, I mean saving money in the cash balance of your brokerage account where it will accrue interest. And as I've read and said here on the show, it will accrue more interest than it would in a savings account, a typical savings account. So the barriers to entry are nil, and that has not always been the case historically. So there's that. There's easy access. And yes, you have to treat all of it with a level of respect. That said, it's not as complicated as I thought. That's the magic for me. It's not as complicated as I thought. I'm in the stock market, which, before, the way I was in the stock market was the way probably most of you are. I was in the stock market through my 401k when I had a corporate job, and that was about it. I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was, choosing between moderate, low, and aggressive, and that's all I was doing in my mutual fund. I didn't understand it. And so now in this space of understanding it, I understand that it's not as challenging as I thought. number one. And number two, you can learn the system. So as you've heard me talk about quite a bit, what I've learned over time, as you've watched me kind of stumble and fall and pick myself back up, is that in terms of stocks, the best thing to do, best, quote unquote, do your own research. But for me, the best thing to do is to put your money in index funds. Index funds, once again, are massive accounts, let's call them, where they hold a number of different stocks. So the S&P 500 is one we've talked about a lot. So we've got a single fund that contains 500 companies, not just 500 companies, 500 companies that do at least $40 billion in business a year. 40 billion per company, and it's 500 companies. Like, yeah, it could go sideways, but the likelihood is low, right? And so just knowing that there are ways to move within the market where there's high risk, low risk, moderate risk has been empowering for me. And I'm having now the same discovery with trading stocks. Because you've heard me say, I mentioned this to Rev Mel yesterday. She was like, you said you never trade stocks. I was like, yeah, I was afraid of it. But now that I've dabbled in it, I see that in the same way, it's not as complicated as I thought it was. That's not to say it's not risky, but as Jim Rohn said, it's all risky. It's a manageable risk, especially if you educate yourself. And so I've really been blown away by the ease at which I'm able to trade stocks. And again, I am playing with very small numbers, and I'm playing with house money. I opened a brokerage account on Webull via a link that I did not trust for months. For months, I've been hearing about this link. For months, people have been telling me about this link, and I was like, nah, somebody's going to try to get my money. Nah, I don't trust it. So it took me a while to build up the trust to click on the link. And then when I clicked on it, I got the free stock. And I was like, how? But anyway, now I have this brokerage account on Webull that's full of their money. Like it's house money. So because I feel empowered by the fact that it's house money, that has empowered me to trade a little bit. I've got a $40 account, and I'm trying to make 40 cents on each trade, 10%. Small numbers, tiny numbers, and it's house money. It's not even my money. I put in $10 and they put in 30. So and I'm fine with losing $10. So it's house money. So that has really enabled me to experiment. And what I've discovered, as I've said before in other instances, you can strategize all you want from the sofa, right? But once you get in it, everything changes. You're going to notice things, you're going to learn things way faster than being on the sofa studying things. Like the inclination is to sit and study and learn everything you can before you stick a toe in the water. And that's not the way to do this. The way to do this is to stick your toes in the water and make some mistakes. Be prepared to make mistakes. Be prepared to slip and fall, but also be prepared to learn from those mistakes. So I'll give you a quick example. There's a type of order in Webull. I guess it's in all the brokerage apps, but I'm only trading, quote unquote, in Webull. So there's a type of order that's called good till canceled, as opposed to good until the end of the day. So you can set up an order to sell or to buy, and then you designate on the app. There's my alarm. Then you can designate on the app if you want that order to stay in force forever, or if you only want it to stay in force for the day. So, for example, you've got a $7 share of stock that Webull gave you for free, and you want to sell it at $7.05. So really, I mean, it's all profit because they gave you the stock for free, right? But you want to make 5 cents on it. So you could set an order for the system to sell the stock at $7.05 if it ever hits $7.05 ever in life. So it's like, set it and forget it. Like you just set that up once, and then if it ever hits $7.05, it'll sell automatically and then notify you that it's sold. So I've done that 3 times now. I've done 3 trades. I just set it and forget it. And then twice the trade went through on the same day, unbeknownst to me. I was like, I didn't even check my notifications. I was like, oh, wow. It went through quickly and easily. And so my account has crept up a little more than $40 because of those trades. So I'm saying all this to say it's all risky. And the more you learn, the less risky it is. Look at the light. You all see that? That's pretty cool. The sun is like shining right across. Anyway, so I am continuing to experiment with a little bit of trading and a little bit of saving for long-term investing. And there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. As I've been studying trading for the past couple of days, I've noticed that there's a lot of podcasts about it. I will talk specifically about a podcast later, but there's a lot of information. And maybe I have time to tell this story really quickly. There is a DoorDasher. Now, obviously, this appealed to me because I do DoorDash, right? So there's this DoorDasher who was DoorDashing and doing Amazon deliveries at night. Well, actually all day. But in the morning, he was trying to learn to be a stock trader. So he funded his account with $200 from his DoorDashing. So $200. He was able to trade his way up to $5,000. And then he lost it and went all the way back down to 180. And so then he reset himself. He decided he wasn't going to quit. He made some sticky notes that he put all around his computer about what to do, what not to do. Again, it's a system that can be learned. He learned, he took notes, he put reminders, and then he built his 180 account all the way back up to $50,000. At which point his wife said, don't you go door dashing again. This is your full-time job now. You stay on this, forget the other stuff. So he built his account up to $50,000, and then he became a full-time trader, and that's what he does now. So it's all risky, but it's learnable. It's a learnable skill. We're not talking about somebody who came out of MIT and was like, all right, I'm about to start trading now. He was doing it on the side, even as he's tired from doing deliveries. So that's inspiration for me, and I hope it's inspiration for you. So, all right. I talked about a number of things, and then I didn't talk about the thing that I really wanted to talk about. So let me just ping it now so that I remember for tomorrow. I really want to talk about cognitive bias, because what I've discovered in my sticking my toes in the water of trading is that the single biggest barrier to being a successful trader is cognitive bias. Imagine that. The way you think is the biggest barrier, not the information, not knowledge about the system, but the way you think is the biggest barrier to being a successful trader. That's across the board. You don't have to take my word for it. You can Google it. So I want to talk about that probably the rest of this week because I'm fascinated. So anyway, it's time for prayer time coming up right now. I see there's a lot of comments, so I'll check those after the show. Right after that, it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa. She's live again. She's back from her vacation, so check her out live. And I might be popping in to say a couple words at the end of the show. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. for the Be Your Own Hero Show. Keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. Get off the couch, go experiment. If you didn't click that Webull link, I'm sorry about it because it was a good offer. All right, I'll see you mañana. Later.